I first came to Dubai in 1978 as a hotel school graduate to work in one of Dubai's new five-star hotels. Just over a year later, I decided to give up my short hotel career and start my own business, the UAE's first magazine, which was called What's On. This is a magazine which we've now been publishing for over 37 years. We also launched a public relations division of the company, an events division. We looked after people's promotions, sports activities. We worked on the Dubai International Rally. From the first issue of only 28 pages, by the 6th or 7th issues, we were producing 68 and then 80 pages. Within a year, we were producing predominantly colour magazines of around 100 pages a month. Of course, none of these things can be achieved alone. I've been lucky to have tremendous support. When we first started, there were 3 or 4 staff, which soon grew to 8 or 9, and now we have a team of over 200. But the one constant throughout has been my business partner and my friend, His Excellency Obaid Humaid Al-Taya, who's now the Minister of State for Finance. Socially too, things were entirely different. In the 70s and the 80s, we spent a lot more time with UAE nationals. We made friends with UAE nationals. There were very, very few Western expatriates living here then compared to now. Of course, as expats here, we had a lot to learn. We had to understand the culture and the heritage of the country. We also had to learn as we went along how far we could go and what we could and couldn't write, which so many expatriates don't have these days, of going to the homes of nationals, meeting the families, meeting the children. It's a great privilege still to be able to do that, and I think it's a great shame that so many expatriates who lived in Dubai even now for maybe 4 or 5 years don't have any personal acquaintances or any interaction with UAE nationals. It's really something that they should make an effort to improve on. Within a few years of launching What's On, we were able to publish Emirates Woman magazine, which was launched in 1981. That was the region's first ever women's magazine and is still, to my knowledge in the English language, the biggest selling magazine even now. Our next big break came in 1985 with the launch of Emirates Airline, and I had a call then from Maurice Flanagan, who was setting the airline up with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, and he asked me, would we be able to launch a magazine for the airline in just a few months? And I remember saying to him, Maurice, if you can launch an airline in just a few months, I'm quite certain we can launch a magazine for you. And we've been publishing those magazines for Emirates since 1985. And now with 3 titles on board, we produce over 160,000 magazines a month for Emirates. So our first ever book was published in Dubai in 1986. It was first called The Commercial Book of Dubai, but such was the demand for it after the Chess Olympiad that we updated it a few months later and republished it, and we called it Dubai Gateway to the Gulf, which I believe was the first time that that name was given to the Emirate of Dubai. Of course, our most famous and most valued author is His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Prime Minister and Vice President of the UAE and our ruler here in Dubai. We have published many books of his. The first one was My Vision, which we produced in English and Arabic and subsequently in 7 or 8 other languages. We've also produced Flashes of Thought and Flashes of Wisdom and several poetry volumes by His Highness. And without a question, these are our biggest selling range of books, which is really not a surprise. When we first arrived, Ramadan was just before the summer, and now this year, the holy month will be celebrated in June. So we've experienced Ramadan from the spring all the way through the entire calendar, and now my family sees Ramadan coming back again in June. Of course, having been here for so long, we've had opportunities to explore almost every corner of the Emirates and the neighbouring countries, especially Oman, which is so beautiful. We've seen the Emirates from the sea, we've seen the Emirates from the land, we've seen the Emirates from the top of mountains. That 2016 was going to be the year of reading. The announcement from His Highness Sheikh Khalifa, the President, and then the endorsement and support which came immediately from His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, Another way in which we're truly blessed and grateful is that our 4 children, 2 sons and 2 daughters, have all been born here in the Emirates and spent most of their time here in education. They all travelled overseas for their university, but have since all returned to live in Dubai. And we're blessed to have had a grandson also born in Dubai. When we first came here, I met my wife here, we travelled back to the UK or went overseas, and nobody had really ever heard of Dubai. Nobody knew where it was, nobody understood the region. Of course, Dubai and the United Arab Emirates have become so much better known over these last 4 decades. A country which promotes harmony across nationalities and particularly across religions. A country which is truly tolerant of everybody and encourages everybody to live with their neighbours and respect their neighbours. This is something that my children have grown up with, and when people ask them where they're from, they say simply, أنا من دبي.